Alright, so this is my favorite time of the day. Just heading home from work. Got a couple things lined up for tonight. And I figure I just do a vlog and everything like that. So let me get home and then we'll figure stuff out. Always got to make sure that it doesn't scrape, because ever since I put this workbench in here, I'm still not used to how close I can get to it. So that's that. Oh, and in case you guys missed it, recently picked up a quick jack system for the garage, and it's just right there. And then you got the compressor over here. It's just really nice and convenient, and it literally can fit anywhere, so I'm super happy about it. I still need to use it, obviously. I only lifted the car up once. More to come on that. My God, my hair's a mess. Okay, so yeah, I just got off of work. Like I mentioned, I have a few things lined up for this evening. It's actually my dad's birthday, so we're gonna go out to eat as a family. And I realized that I never got to make that video explaining what happened to my Subaru Legacy. So for those who don't know, I had a 2008 Subaru Legacy GT, and I got rid of it, I think a little over a month ago or something, a few weeks ago, something like that. And kind of wanted to explain to you guys what happened to it, since I bought it as a beater car, but then you know how that goes. You spend money fixing it up and then you start to care about it. So that's unfortunately what happened, but I will explain exactly why I had to let it go and what the issues were. Yes, there was issues, but I'll get into that in a little bit. And hopefully it could help some of you guys out. I know it was a nice car and pretty popular back then, and it was still just overall a great car. For now, I'm gonna get cleaned up and then get ready to go out for my dad's birthday. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll take you guys along with me. We're gonna get Korean barbecue. For those who don't know, I will show you exactly what it is, so let's go. I'm taking her car to save gas too, so. Plus I don't wanna park there. It's a crappy parking lot if you've been there. So that reminds me, yesterday I saw my old BRZ. I got rid of that car 4 years ago, and then we were at a Taco Bell. I recognized the plate number and then got out of the car, and then I told the dude to park and just chatted with him. I'll play a clip of the video. It's kind of cool, and I don't know, I got all sad because that was my car for a couple years. If you've ever seen your old car just driven by someone else after you got rid of it, it's a weird feeling. She's never had that feeling before, because I guess her old car is beat up, or not beat up, but someone hit it and then it was totaled, right? No,
it's a 1996 and got driven to probably like 300,000 miles and lived its life.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I've seen my old BRZ twice so far. The last time was a couple years ago, and then again last night. So it was just a cool experience. And like I said, the dude is pretty chill. But yeah, I will insert that clip here. I'm at a Taco Bell with my wife, and I kid you not, this used to be my BRZ. So everything else is the same, except the front lip that got torn off. So he's the new owner. He's had it for 4 years. I got rid of it 4 years ago for the WRX that you guys see on the channel, but everything else is literally the same. I know every little detail about this car, even this loose rear diffuser, mud flaps and everything, and the bar that I put on right there. I don't know, this is crazy. All right, so if you've ever been to that Korean barbecue place, then you know where this is. There we go, right there. There's my dad in that white Nissan. Look at him. We just parked. The only thing good about Southeast Portland is all the Asian spots around here. Other than that, it's all right. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. There we go. So it's now 9. We got there at 6:30.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna head home. I'm so full. I look like crap. Need to get a haircut tomorrow. All right, guys, it's actually the following day. So if you've ever had Korean barbecue before, then you know you try to get your money's worth. but that last plate is usually one too many. So that's what happened last night. We just ate a little too much and you know, knocked out. So I'm gonna get my hair cut first because it's not looking good right now. I'm just gonna get it touched up and then get back home and then just kind of explain exactly what happened to my Subaru Legacy. So let's go ahead and do that. So I don't want to jinx it, but the car is still running fine. I don't know if you guys saw my last couple vlogs ago that I put out. It was basically the car was having air fuel issues, and it turned out to be the cob intake that was bent, and so it wasn't sealed properly. So ever since fixing that, it's been running fine. I do have the MAF extension cable still that I still need to try just to see if there's any possible improvements that could be made. But for now, it is it's running great. And everything is smooth, so I'm super happy about that. But yeah, I don't want to jinx it. All right, just got here. This is Barber's Hollywood in Northeast Portland. Okay, so I just got back from getting my hair cut. By the way, I forgot to mention I am using 30 frames per second in this video. So if you guys like this better, let me know. Or if you like the traditional 60 frames per second, then let me know as well. But I think I'm kind of digging this look. It's like a little slower pace and it's not as like in your face, but we'll see. But yeah, so back to the story. So when I picked up this car in May of last year, basically I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I bought it as a daily driver and so that I can teach my wife how to drive a manual. Eventually, yes, I've decided to just teach her on the WRX as an easier clutch to learn. But yeah, shortly after buying the car, this was my fault for not inspecting it. You know, I assumed that it was from a good friend, that it was well taken care of, that everything was fine. And you know, I was getting it for a good deal. It was just under 4,000 that I picked it up for. In this market, that's cheap. So I'm like, hey, you know, 4 grand from a good friend of mine, and he's still a good friend, obviously, like no hard feelings or anything. The car was flawless up until what I'm about to get to. But what had happened was, as soon as I got the car, I noticed that the access port wasn't plugged in. Now, usually I know those are just anxiety ports, and sometimes those things can cause unwanted stress. But however, in this case, what I should have done was I should have plugged it in first before the test drive to see if there's anything wrong with the car or if anything is funny based on my limited knowledge of how cars and stuff like that work. I mean, I feel like I know a little bit more than the traditional folks, but it's just, you never know with any kind of engines. And this was gonna be my first EJ engine, and the EJ 255, I believe, version 2, that was in the 2008 Subaru Legacy GTs, the 07 to 09. So yeah, my first EJ motor, and I kind of didn't know what to expect. So soon as I bought the car from him, I plugged in the access port and I monitored everything. So the first thing I noticed, and again, this is my bad, I should have checked, did my due diligence before buying the car, but I was just so excited to get a new car. And as a daily driver, you know, it's been a while since I had one. I had an older Legacy, a 95 Legacy, which that one I kind of, you know, I regret selling, but I never drove it. But that thing was perfect. It was non-turbo, everything was solid, all-wheel drive. But yeah, I got rid of that one, and then I bought the 2008 Legacy GT. Yeah, the first thing I noticed was that the oil was low. So that's usually, you know, not a good indication that it was well taken care of. My buddy had it for less than a year before deciding to sell it to me, and so I picked it up from him shortly after he bought it. But yeah, the oil was low, so the first thing I did was I changed it, basically did all the proper maintenance, and I even changed the spark plugs, the 2 front axles since they were leaking. The rears could have been replaced too, but I left those on there. But yeah, I think I was just so amazed that I was getting a good deal for this car in a 5-speed limited model, and you know, it had modifications done to it already. So I thought, hey, this is a good deal. I can use this, teach the wife how to drive, and keep it for a really long time. But very early of owning this vehicle, I noticed that it would register feedback knock whenever I would step on the throttle. And this is, you know, you could be in second gear, 3,000 RPMs, you floor it a little bit, it registers knock. And I'm talking anywhere from 2 to 7, 8, that was consistent. And I thought it was a loose heat shield or something like that. Went through the entire thing, went through the entire car. couldn't find anything loose, and it just continued to register feedback knob. So usually that's not a good thing if it's consistent, especially if they're in the high numbers like I mentioned, the 7s, the 8s, the 9s. But in this situation, that should have been my red flag to kind of start thinking about getting rid of it, you know? I don't mean to pass off my issues to other people. My plan was to be as open as possible, and I was, to anyone who is interested in buying my cars. Usually it's a karma thing for me. I wouldn't want someone to buy a piece of junk and essentially spend more money than you have to. So unfortunately for my friend, again, he's still my friend, dude, if you're watching, everything's all chill. It's my fault. I bought it from you. But, you know, I don't think he knew much about cars. To him, he got an oil change at the dealership and everything was fine. Didn't bother to check the level of the oil, which was extremely low when I got it. So that's, again, should have been another red flag for me. But this was in May, June of July last year, and I've changed the oil since then. But what had happened the most recently, earlier this year, was I got the dreaded P001 code. So I have my phone right here for notes, and I am reading off of it, so I don't give you guys any bad info or anything like that. And according to my own research, the P0011 code could be an issue caused by banjo bolts that are in the car. So basically the banjo bolts have this little filter in there, and sometimes those filters get clogged up and it just starves the turbo from oil. Obviously that's not a good thing. If the turbo is blown, it's gonna take a lot of work and money to get that fixed. And so as soon as I found that out, this happened in my other video when I was filming the Melee Design Firm billet oil caps, or the engine caps, and I said in the video that I had to run some errands. During that drive, the car actually, the check engine light went on, and so immediately I got worried. You know, this is supposed to be a reliable daily driver, but the check engine light is on. So I knew I was gonna have a lot of work ahead of me as soon as I saw that light. Read the code on the access port, and yes, it showed up as the P0011 code. And you know, whenever you see code, you Google it, you don't think it's a big deal until it's a big deal. And you see a lot of folks agreeing that this is possibly one of the worst issues that could happen on the EJ platform. It means that somewhere along the flow of oil, it's caused a starvation. And my guess was it was the turbo, which could have been related to the knocking, the consistent knocking, but the check engine light didn't illuminate until that day, and I was just cruising. So now at this point, I felt like I opened up a can of worms. So going back to those banjo bolts, so I checked 2 of the 3 banjo bolts to see if there were any the filters that I was talking about earlier in there that could be preventing the oil from flowing through. And fortunately there wasn't any filter material in those banjo bolts in the 2 of them that I found, so they were good. But unfortunately the 3rd one I couldn't access because I had to remove the freaking turbo to be able to get to that banjo bolt. There's no way to access it. I checked absolutely everywhere and the turbo had to come off. I didn't want to deal with all of that. At this point, I think I spent over a week, literally every day after work, trying to find this issue. I don't know what I'm looking for. And so I left that 3rd banjo bolt and I never got to check it if there was a filter or debris from preventing oil from flowing through to the turbo. So this led me to check the AVCS solenoids, which are near impossible to access on these motors as well. You know, I was able to get 2 of them loosened and just pulled out a little bit, but you cannot take it out without removing additional parts. And at that point, like I said, I was tired of it and I just wanted it fixed. This was going on the 2nd week. I read again online that sometimes if you change the oil, the car might run a little better. And so I changed the oil, and I was gonna do a coolant swap too, but I wanted to start with the oil, the easy stuff, the oil and filter. So I did that, and I reflashed the ECU. And obviously after reflashing your ECU through the access port, so the code wasn't there anymore, the check engine light was off. But just when I thought I fixed the issue, the car ran like crap. You know, it wasn't holding boost, and you could just feel the loss in power, and it was shaky, and just everything about it was just done. And also I read on all of the forums that usually people who get this P0011 check engine light code, usually it's a sign that they need to get a new turbo or a new motor, because the issues were all related to one another and it just caused the entire engine to blow, basically starved of oil. So In my posting that I made, I was very open about these issues. I listed every single thing I did to the car and the check engine light that I found. So yeah, I listed it up for sale. I had one interest in it, and like I said, everything I mentioned on there, I told him constantly that, hey, if this is gonna be your daily driver, then I would probably consider something else. I mean, the guy was still interested in checking it out. So I said, okay, just be mindful if you buy it. These are the issues, and I'm not gonna take it back. I was very open about it to the point where I'm like, okay, I was getting annoyed. You still want the car? I'm gonna give it to you anyway. So basically, he was gonna buy it for what I bought it for, $4 grand, you know, minus the, I think I put $2 grand into this car, just maintenance wise and stuff like that, just for it to run right and to look right. So he was gonna buy it for that much. And then this was a Saturday morning. I remember specifically, I started the car. I was on my way to meet him so he can check out the car, test drive it, whatever. Kid you not, started it, let it warm up a little bit, it started smoking. And surprise, it was coming directly from the turbo itself, that connection. So, you know, I let the guy know. I said, hey, I don't think you want the car anymore. I just started it and the turbo is smoking. And it doesn't sound too good. Unfortunately, I do not want to, I don't feel comfortable selling this to you. That's what I told him. And you know, he thanked me for the honesty and everything like that. At this point, I was either just gonna do a full rebuild, which I didn't want to. It's a daily driver. I didn't want to spend more money than I had to already. But at that point, you know, you get to a point where you're so tired of the thing that you just want to get rid of your issues and you just want to throw it away. So what I did was what most people would do, and I took it to CarMax down the street. I figure it's like 7 minutes away from my house. The car can make it there if I don't get into boost. And to my surprise, they took it. They took it for a little over half the note I was gonna sell it for. That got rid of my issues, and I felt a weight lifted off the shoulders as soon as they bought it from me. And hey, the check engine light was off, which you can't have a check engine light if you're selling the car. The smoke was gone when they were inspecting it. So technically they did what I would do, which was buy something and you just take that risk. But to them, you know, multi-million-dollar company, they knew what they were doing. They were just gonna take it straight to wholesale since it's an older car. Usually that's what they do for older vehicles. At places like that, they buy it so they can get it, and then they scrap it or take it to wholesale so other people can buy it. And so that's what I did. I did feel bad for a little bit because I thought they were gonna put it on their lot, but as soon as I found out it was wholesale, then you know, it's everyone's responsibility to inspect the car, and something I didn't do obviously before buying it, before committing to it. And so the people at CarMax inspected it, they passed it, they took it from me, and I got my money. So that's that. So long story short, if you're just now tuning into this vlog, I got rid of my Subaru Legacy because I was driving one day, the check engine light went on, and it turned out it was a P0011 code. So if you have any turbo car, or if you're buying used, just make sure you do your research. I was caught up in the moment. Cool car, coming from a good friend of mine. It was most likely taken care of. And I found out the hard way that it was on its last legs when I got it anyway. But I just didn't see the signs until about less than a year after. So I only put, I think, 2,500 miles into it, just driving it here and there, you know, from the store and back, never anywhere far. Every time I got in that car, I had negative feelings like, oh crap, what if this thing blows up on me? Just cause, you know, I'd watch the access port and it would just step on the gas. Here's a 7 feedback knock for you or something like that. It never had any issues with the air fuel. It was just the feedback knock. What I think happened was that feedback knock that it was experiencing at every single throttle consistently was leading up to the issue of that P0011 code, something with oil flow and blockage and stuff like that. So again, it was most likely on its last legs. I didn't want to spend any more money on it than I already did. So I guess the reason why I'm making this video is so I can share knowledge. If you recently got a P0011 code on your car, please let me know in the comments below what you did to fix it, or if you even fixed it. I just want to know what you guys did if you experienced this in your car. For me, obviously I got rid of it. I could have spent more time digging into it, I'm sure, taking out the turbo, replacing all those fluids, and but like I said, at that point I was so sick of the thing, I didn't want to do it anymore, and I just wanted to get rid of it. And now, you know, we're back to having 2 cars at the house, the Corolla and obviously my WRX, and couldn't be happier. 2 reliable cars so far. Yeah, I just didn't need that 3rd car around. You know, I am looking for a truck or an SUV pickup or of some sort, just to drive around. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. I know it took a little while to tell you guys what happened to the Legacy, but there's that. Overall, it was a great car, super comfortable inside, and it was fast. That thing pulled almost as hard as a WRX, but not quite. It was tuned with pushing 18 PSI. It was tuned at Surgeline. I don't know exactly how much power it was pushing out, but it was significant and sounded good. You got that EJ rumble, but at the end of the day, it just didn't work out. So that's that. That's the story. On to the next. I don't know if I want to start another build or do the responsible thing and get a truck or SUV, but I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. Thank you to everyone who continue to support the channel. It means the world to me that you guys watch the videos. So if you made it this far, thanks again for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.